Lil Meech really threw his homie under the bus, straight up dropped a burner on 3 Luck and played it cool like nothing happened. And of course, 50 Cent didn't waste a second. He blasted it all over the internet so everyone could see it. Big Meech, he's heated. If you've been on your phone or even halfway tuned into the streets, you already know the clip. Body cam footage caught Lil Meech casually tossing a gun and maybe even some extras onto his right-hand man, 3 Luck. And let's be clear, 3 Luck ain't some fake TV gangster. He's the real deal, a straight-up street soldier who had Meech's back for years. This man did 10 years locked up, came home, and still stuck close like Meech's own shadow. He wasn't just a bodyguard, he was loyal to the core. Even after that mess at the airport when Meech got caught on body cam trying to duck a bag full of who knows what, saying that's not my bag, and the internet labeled him a snitch in training. 3 Luck still didn't budge, he kept it solid, but then came October 24th last year and everything flipped. Meech and 3 Luck were out riding like they always did. Meech behind the wheel, 3 Luck knocked out in the passenger seat. What they didn't know, the cops were already locked in on Meech. He was being watched, full-blown investigation in motion. So once they spotted his plates, they moved in. Lights flashing, squad cars pulling up. Now here's where it gets wild. As soon as those lights hit, Meech didn't just panic, he moved. Not in the driver's seat, nah, he started unloading. Gun, substances, whatever he had, he slid it right on the sleeping 3 Luck. By the time cops reached the car, 3 woke up with a lap full of heat and took the whole charge. Now just imagine waking up to that. 1 second you're out cold, next thing you know you're holding the weight for someone else's mess. Imagine waking up mid-traffic stop, dazed, with illegal gear dumped in your lap and flashing lights coming straight at you. That's exactly what happened to 3 Luck. He looked over at Meech like, did you really just set me up right now? The cops pulled up fast, split them up, and got to work searching the car. At first, they only spotted the firearms. Now remember, this went down in Florida, not Cali or New York. Down there, the gun laws are a lot looser, so just having a few guns wasn't necessarily a big deal. They might have just walked away with a slap on the wrist if that was all they found. But here's where it gets grimy. Meech knew that ride wasn't clean. It wasn't just about the guns. He knew exactly what else was hiding in there. So while the officers were being chill, telling him, it's just guns, no big deal, Meech flipped. He started running his mouth, mentioning other stuff in the car, most likely weed or coke, and even pointed out where it was hidden. The wild part, the cops weren't even looking for that. But once Meech spilled the beans, they turned right back around and searched again. Boom, found everything right where Meech had stashed it, all over 3 Luck. And just like that, the whole situation spiraled from a routine stop into a federal case. That mix of heat and narcotics, it was game over. And who took the fall? Not Meech. It was 3 Luck who got cuffed on the spot. Man was hit with 40 months behind bars. Here's the craziest part. 3 didn't even know what Meech had told the police. All he knew was he woke up to flashing lights, cops in his face, and a lap full of charges. Meech looked shook like he knew he messed up, but even then, 3 tried to stay solid, thinking maybe Meech just panicked under pressure. 3 Luck thought maybe Meech would come through and do the right thing, so he kept quiet. He held it down behind bars, drained his life savings on lawyers, and counted on the BMF crew to return the favor. But guess what? Nobody showed up. Not a single dollar from Lil Meech, not a penny from anyone in his camp. And then came the final insult. Meech actually called him while he was locked up. Sounded all sorry, telling 3 he was gonna fix it. Said once the next season of BMF aired and the checks rolled in, he'd break him off something for taking that charge. A little payback for keeping things solid. So 3 waited and waited. Then boom, news dropped that 50 Cent canceled the show. No new season, no money, no nothing, just silence. That's when 3 Luck snapped. He jumped on Instagram and let it all fly. Screenshots, voice messages, captions full of heat. He didn't hold back, wrote, reason I gotta do fat time is cause a fake dude like Lil Meech lined me up. I hate your pops bred a lame like you. That post exploded. He didn't just call Meech disloyal, he went in. Said he gave up years with his own kid, lost his business, and threw away his freedom to protect someone too caught up in pills and fame to care about anything real. He even called out the rest of the crew, the so-called homies who stayed silent instead of helping. Said they chose clout over loyalty. And the final blow, 3 made it clear Meech never planned to help him at all. It was all talk. Now 3's sitting in a cell, his freedom gone, his life in pieces, and any respect he had for the BMF name completely shattered. Meech was out here trying to keep up that street image, but it all started crashing down, and guess who lit the match and threw it straight into the fire? 50 Cent. He hit Instagram full force, posted that wild footage, dropped captions full of shade, and told the world, look what your boy Meech just did. That wasn't just a post, it was a digital explosion. And it didn't end there. That clip opened the floodgates. The internet started eating him alive. Talks of snitching, backstabbing, and even whispers that Lil Meech might be working with law enforcement after 3 Luck took the fall. The first jab was subtle. 50 reposted a pic of Michael Rainey Jr. from Power Book 2, showing him love for leveling up in his career. But then, boom, he slid in that jab at Meech. See what happens when you don't use your brain and blow your bag on Chrome Hearts jeans? Then 50 went full savage. He flooded his IG feed with back-to-back shots, body cam screenshots, quotes straight from 3 Luck's rants, even clips of Meech low-key apologizing and promising to make it right. It was brutal. This wasn't playful trolling, it was warfare, a calculated public takedown. 50 clowned him hard, calling him Mimi and turning him into a walking meme. Said he's just a private school kid cosplaying a street life he never really knew. One caption had everybody going crazy. Yo, how you gonna toss your burner and stash on your boy's lap while he's sleeping? Like, here bro, this yours now. That hit different. It wasn't just jokes, it was pure humiliation. 50 put Meech on digital blast for the whole world to see, and nobody stepped in to stop it. Classic 50, right? But don't get it twisted. This ain't just him clowning for kicks. This is strategy. 50 Cent been using social media as a weapon for years. Viral memes, shady captions, relentless trolling. He's mastered the art of controlling the narrative, breaking down enemies, and keeping the internet talking. Remember when Tekashi 6X99 flipped on everybody? 50 cooked him too. And now he's using that same exact playbook on Lil Meech, dragging up betrayal, comparing him to known snitches, stacking receipts, and getting the fans to side-eye Meech with suspicion. This wasn't just a roast, it was a full-blown reputation hit job. 50 wanted people to laugh at Meech, question his loyalty, and talk behind closed doors, and judging by the buzz online, mission definitely accomplished. But then 50 took it up another level, and this time it didn't just poke at Lil Meech, it hit the whole Flannery family. Once that body cam footage dropped and 50's clowning went viral, fans started asking the one question everyone was thinking: where's Big Meech in all this? He didn't come out swinging, no interviews, no statements. But then something dropped. A series of photos popped up. Lil Meech standing right next to his pops, even though Big Meech is still locked up. But it was the caption that had people raising eyebrows. Nothing can stop us, we all the way up. Sounds like support on the surface, right? But for those who know how Big Meech moves, that felt more like a coded message. This wasn't just a dad backing his son, it was the boss reminding folks, we're still here, we still got pulled, don't get it twisted. And behind the scenes, that quiet message got louder. Word in the industry started buzzing. Big Meech had already sent a little heads up to 50 Cent through mutual connects. No public drama, no social media flex, just a firm behind-the-scenes warning: respect the family or else. Tell him to stop playing with my son or else. That wasn't just a father stepping in, that was straight old school street diplomacy. The kind of behind-the-scenes message that BMF was built on. And guess what? It worked. People close to the drama said the energy between 50's camp and BMF went ice cold fast. And fans started noticing 50's tone change too. The clowning slowed down. The posts weren't hitting as hard. So now, this ain't just Lil Meech versus 50 Cent's Instagram feed anymore. This is the whole BMF legacy squaring up against 50's media empire. What started as a viral mess turned into something deeper. This is street loyalty going to war with social media chaos, and the stakes, they way past just reputation now. Let's keep it real. This whole Lil Meech scandal didn't just start fresh beef. It cracked open old wounds that have been bubbling for years. Because if you've really been paying attention, this was never just about a viral clip or a wild caption. This is about power, respect, and one huge question. Who really owns the BMF story? See, 50 didn't just produce the hit series BMF, he created the platform that made Lil Meech famous. He handpicked him to play his own father, Big Meech, and poured his brand, his money, and his reputation into making that story global. For a while, it looked like a perfect win. Lil Meech got the Hollywood spotlight, 50 got another hit show on Stars, and the BMF legacy got a flashy reboot for a new generation. But all that glitz was just the surface. Behind the scenes, tension had already been building. Word in the industry was, things between 50 and Big Meech had been rocky long before that footage of 3 Luck and Lil Meech ever hit the timeline. And the issue wasn't just loyalty, it was business. Sources say there were quiet disputes over profit splits, questions about how much cash was actually flowing back to the Flannery family, and most importantly, who had the final say on how that legacy was being shown to the world. That's where things got sticky. Big Meech ain't just a name in the credits, he's the foundation of BMF, the man who built it brick by brick. And when you're talking legacy at that level, image matters more than anything. And word is, Big Meech wasn't always feeling how 50 was shaping his life story. Cause let's be honest, no matter how good the ratings are, if the man who lived it doesn't respect the portrayal, then the whole thing starts to crumble. Big Meech wasn't feeling a lot of what was happening behind the scenes. He didn't vibe with some of the creative choices, hated the way the storyline was shifting, and especially didn't like being left out of major decisions. Meanwhile, 50 Cent, he's known for doing things his way, ruthless, calculated, always 10 steps ahead. If something doesn't fit his vision, he cuts ties fast. Just ask anyone who's tried going up against him, whether in business or online. It never ends well. And the more you dig into this whole Lil Meech mess, the more it looks like this was just the perfect excuse for 50 to publicly blow up a partnership that was already crumbling behind closed doors. Because here's the twist, it wasn't just Lil Meech catching shade. In one of those savage IG posts, 50 didn't just clown the son, he called out Big Meech directly, said the OG wasn't loyal, hinted that there were informants in his circle, and even teased that he was sitting on a whole documentary that would expose the truth. Now that ain't just trolling, that's a straight up threat. And if 50 drops that doc, best believe he's airing everything out. He's done it before, just look at the ones he dropped on Supreme and other street icons. 50's whole brand is built on being the guy who keeps it real, even if it scorches reputations in the process. He doesn't care who gets caught in the flames. So what are we really looking at here? Because this ain't just petty IG beef anymore. It's starting to feel like a full-blown war over who controls the BMF legacy. On one side, you've got Big Meech, still respected, still carrying weight, trying to keep the BMF name intact and untainted. On the other, 50 Cent, the master of media, who's made a whole empire reshaping people's legacies, whether for profit, exposure, or straight up payback. And stuck right in the middle of this heavyweight clash, Lil Meech, the son, the actor, the lightning rod for a battle that's about way more than fame or followers. This is about power, control, and who gets to tell the story when legends collide. Lil Meech is now staring down allegations that could crush his career before it even fully takes off. But this ain't just about one scandal, it runs way deeper. There's history here. See, 50 Cent and Big Meech haven't always seen eye to eye when it came to who should be involved behind the scenes. One name that kept raising eyebrows? Rick Ross. Yeah, the same Rick Ross who's been beefing with 50 for over a decade. Word is, Big Meech's rumored ties with Ross didn't sit right with 50. It felt like a slap in the face. While 50 was out here putting BMF on TV, pumping money into the brand, Big Meech was still showing love to folks from the opposite camp. So while fans were locked in watching BMF play out on Stars every week, the real drama was bubbling quietly behind closed doors. Backdoor politics, power moves, silent tension, and now all of it's coming to the surface in the ugliest way possible. Even those cancellation rumors, they hit different now. 50 started hinting he might pull the plug on the BMF series, and fans are asking, was that a business decision or was it personal payback? Because when you look at how it all unraveled, it kind of feels like 50 used the Lil Meech drama as his exit strategy from a partnership he no longer trusted. And that's the part that cuts the deepest. This started as something legendary, a real collab between street royalty and a media powerhouse. The idea was to bring the BMF story to the world the right way, with the budget, the spotlight, and the platform to match. But now it looks like a kingdom divided, a fractured empire built on old loyalty, new fame, and clashing egos. Yeah, that car footage with Meech and 3 Luck set off alarms. But if we're being real, the real explosion had been building long before that clip ever hit the gram. And let's be real, this whole thing is far from over. As of right now, the beef between 50 Cent and Big Meech is still red hot and getting even more personal by the day. 50 didn't just throw slick shots, he went all in, calling Big Meech a rat on multiple occasions across social media. At one point, he even posted a pic of an actual rat with the caption, "I think I'm Big Meech," a direct disrespectful jab at the BMF boss that left fans and OGs stunned. And disrespect like that, it don't just fade away, it sticks, it gets remembered. Big Meech, for his part, has been trying to keep it cool publicly, still standing on that death before dishonor code and moving quiet like a real one's supposed to. But behind the scenes, he's already sent messages through solid street intermediaries, letting 50 know back off before this goes somewhere it can't come back from. Because this ain't just some clout war, it's about money, control, and legacy. Word on the street is Big Meech is working on his own BMF film, and some big names might be in the mix. Rumors flying that F. Gary Gray could be attached. That move alone, it could seriously threaten 50's grip on the BMF brand he helped build up in Hollywood. And Rick Ross, he's already turning up, mocking the Stars version and hyping his side of the story, calling it the real BMF tale. Of course, 50 fired back, dragging not just Meech, but anyone standing beside him, Young Buck, Ross, the whole crew. At this point, this ain't just a personal feud, it's a high-stakes chess match. Two powerhouses refusing to fold. What started as one bad decision in a car has now erupted into a public war with generational consequences, and trust, it's only just beginning. If you made it this far, drop a comment below. Whose side are you on in this mess? Hit that like button, subscribe for more wild industry drama, and don't forget to share this with someone who needs the full scoop. Catch you on the next one. It's about to get even crazier.